Hi, I'm Ken Jr. and welcome to Train World TV. Here you'll find the latest and greatest in model trains. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. And if you're new to our channel, we're glad you're here, and I invite you to click the subscribe button and hit that bell notification so you'll never miss a video. Now, we'd also love to send you exclusive deals and special announcements that you won't find anywhere else. So be sure to sign up for our emails, TW Text, and stay connected with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Now, you can find all the links in the description box below or trainworld.com. And without further ado, enjoy today's video. All right, and good evening, everybody, and welcome to Train World TV, Thomas Tuesday. And I'm going to kick it off to Christian and let him open up and do some introductions, so stay tuned.
Thank you very much, Ken. Hey, everyone. How's it going? Welcome to Thomas Tuesday on this fine October morning, evening, afternoon, depending on where you are in the whole world. I'm super stoked for tonight's Thomas Tuesday event. Doug Blaine is back with another Bachmann Thomas update. How are you tonight, Doug?
Just great. Thank you, Christian. Glad to be here with you and happy to show what we have tonight. So I'm looking forward to see what else is on the show with Mr. Salty Mint as well.
And I love the new look, Doug, with the earphones. I think the headphones, they look phenomenal on you.
I had to do something to improve the look, so thank you much.
And our star for tonight, Salty My NTT, as many of you guys probably know from YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. He has a ton of Bachmann and Hornby Thomas reenactments throughout his channel. He's a stunning Thomas modeler with lots of 3D printed faces, has made sets, has a great layout, and he's also our first Australian guest on Thomas Tuesday because, Ken, I was telling you, we had some hate comments there. People were like, when's the next international guest coming? We're having so many American guests. What about us people in Australia, UK, Japan? Like, when do we get a shot, So I thought, now's the time. We're hitting October. It's the fall now. And we're super honored to have Salty My NTT with us tonight.
Hi, everyone. Hi, stream. I hope you can all hear me properly and can see everything properly. Hopefully my show tonight is good enough and you all enjoy. I'm best known, as Christian said, for my remakes on YouTube and Instagram. Had a lot of people text me tonight saying how excited they are to see what I've got, so I hope I don't disappoint.
Very cool. You won't.
I won't, hopefully.
and Salty My NTT, so first of all, you're in Australia, so it is 9 a.m. where you are, right?
Yes, the sun is shining through the clouds on my face, making me look like a ghost. And I've just woken up, so apologies if my English is all over the place. I'm trying my best.
No, it is fantastic. And we're just, again, super, super excited with what you have to show. But please tell us, like what got you into Thomas, where the inspirations came from, and it's incredible. I'll just say right off the bat, I couldn't believe how many remakes you've done, in just the past 2 years, right? You've had pretty much one remake a whole month. And, as many people watching who have done Thomas filming or model railroading filming in general, those remakes are not easy to do. It takes a lot of time and effort. And, but explain like what got you into Thomas. I'm curious to know. And as everyone else is too. So.
quite a boring story. I'm going to just give a quick disclaimer. If anyone hears a little bark, you can probably see that little dog right there. Hopefully she bees quiet. If she decides to bark, I'm going to have to mute and tell her to shut up. So, anyway, yes, my Thomas journey. Well, when I was freshly born, I remember from the youngest age possible, my mum read to me the Railway Series book. She said to me when I was older, I asked her, I said, why did you read me that book when I was a kid? And she said, well, I asked one of my friends, what makes a baby smart? And they told me trains make baby smart. So I brought that book for you. I was like, that is so strange, but thank you, because I read that book more than anything else on the planet so far. And I lost it for the longest time, and I actually have it here with me. All the pages are being held up by, maybe 10 bits of string. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, good. And yeah, it's as old as time. It's got all the original illustrations in it, and hopefully we can refurbish it somehow. But yeah, I was introduced to Thomas through the books, thankfully, and then obviously when the show came out and broadcasted in Australia, that's when Mum would put it on the TV all the time for me, and I was just obsessed. And for some reason, there were so many other shows on TV at the time that I didn't like and I couldn't sit through, and some like petrified me and gave me nightmares. But the show about talking trains with scary big eyes and faces was just charming to me for some reason. Yeah, so that's how I got into trains. I'm sure, like many others in the stream, I was introduced to like the franchise and the toys through the Toby brand, and I didn't get my first Bachmann item until I was about 10, and I think my granny gave that to me, and I remember telling her, "Don't you think I'm too old for Thomas now?" And I was only 10, and she's like, "But look at it." And it was then when me and Mum went to our local hobby store and brought me my first train set, and the rest is history. So
Wonderful. And Salty, my NTT, did we state that your real name? Because that's also a
yeah,
Thomas
so
Jefferson.
ironically enough, my real name is Toby, even though my name is Salty Mint online, and neither of them are my favorite characters, which Christian loves. My favorite characters, they change all the time. If I had to say, like right now, it's still Donald and Douglas. They are my favorite. I always liked seeing them the most on TV as a kid, and they were the ones that I wanted from Bachmann from the longest time, and one of my first that I ever brought. So they're a bit, I think they're over there. They're showing their age now, but they're still there. They're still kicking. Yeah.
Wonderful. So let's jump into the models, shall we? And the presentation.
All right. So today I've got, as you can see behind me, I've got my layout, which is, it's just a big rectangle in this room that I've painted blue. And normally I don't set a loop out because there's a hole in my ceiling and it leaks water. So I only really set it up when people come over or when it's not raining, or for events like this apparently, where I have to show everyone a loop. I've got a couple trains that can run. I'm just hoping that when I take my phone, I don't lose connection. Let's see. Okay. So I have to go underneath my table, which was a great design choice. I'll just try and change my camera.
Yeah, as you're doing that, I'm telling you, with our layout too, my father regrets what we did. We did reverse loops so that we wouldn't have the issue of crawling underneath too. So I feel the pain, or he feels the pain rather. There it is.
Okay, working?
Yes.
We're all good? Okay. So I've got, who have we got? We've got Spencer on track 1 and Henry on track 2. So hopefully you can all hear me and they don't drown out my voice too much. But let's start with my models of the Bachmann, Bill, and Ben. As you can see, I've got the custom faces on it that I've 3D printed. Actually, I think these ones have come from Shapeways. These were some of the first that I ever brought. You can see that I've customized their buffers to match the episode in season 6 where one of them, I don't remember which one, got their buffers repainted. Can I just double check that everyone can hear me properly as the train's past me?
Absolutely. No. Your voice is well over the engines.
All right, perfect. So we've got, the shiny buffers on both sides, and I've dulled the wheels from black to a slight red. I don't know if you can see that. I might repaint them brighter in the future to match their CGI counterparts. I think it was quite a good look, and I think there's a picture of them in red wheels somewhere in the Railway series. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, there they are. They've weathered slightly. They look quite good. Who knows what they're arguing about? Something. And over here we've got Bachmann Mavis with her custom face. This one I did 3D print. I just want to say all the majority of the faces I have are by a Twitter user named Andrew. They're incredible with their designs, and I'm so thankful that they've let me purchase them off them. That's Mavis, and she's quite weathered.
Nice.
And next to her, the Bachmann Emily.
How did you weather Mavis? Sorry.
That's all right. If I take you over here, I've just got the little, the Tamiya weathering packs. So for the industrial engines like Mavis and Bill and Ben, I've used an assortment of these colors and just dabbed them on and then sprayed them with a bunch of I forget what it's called. I think it's matte clear to just set the weathering powder in place.
Nice.
And I think majority of my engines have been sprayed with matte clear just to dull down the plastic a little bit so they look a little better on camera. And this is Emily with her angry face. She's quite stock standard. I haven't really modified her. One of my favorite models from Bachmann. I think she looks stunning. She's a little bit weak compared to the others, but she runs flawlessly on her own, which I don't mind. Moving over to these three. Diesel, Oliver, and Duck. Interesting faces I've chosen here. Would like to think Oliver's giving Diesel a piece of his mind, and Duck's like, "Oh, burn! Thank you, Spencer. Pop out of the way, please." These three are quite stock standard. They don't have much weathering on them. All these faces, I believe, were also done by Andrew. His Twitter hashtag is, I think it's the Chairlord on Twitter. A lot of people in the community know him. And over here we've got Edward and Toby, also stock standard. I've taken Toby's couplers out and gave him a 3D printed little thing in there to cover his cow catches, both back and front. Their faces are some of my favorites. I think Andrew did Toby, and Rexecutions did this Edward face. And there goes Henry. And over here, everybody loves him, everybody knows him. Thomas, the very first one that I got. Don't know what series style face this one is, but it is my favorite. I just really like the triangle eyebrows on him. Something about the triangle that just fills his face out more, in my opinion. And we had the twins as seen before. They got their angry faces on. A little bit peeved off with each other. Classic Scottish twins. There goes Henry. And Ari and Bert, which have been discontinued. I'm very lucky I snatched these in time, because I think they're some of Bachmann's best painted and coloured works, and they just look flawless with their faces I've printed. They've been weathered quite heavily. Hopefully it shows up on camera. buy that to me a weathering powder. And I think they've come out quite good. You can see him good there.
Nice.
So yeah, normally my layout just looks like this. I just use this one strip here for filming my remakes, which is playing over there on my computer. And yeah, that's the pesky hole in the roof. And yeah, I've got a couple of buildings here by Bachmann. This is my favorite. I love this Brendan warehouse. Heaps of modelers have this. This is just stunning, so accurate to the show. I think you guys really did a good job on this one. And I think that's actually the only Bachmann building I have. I'll take you over here to these engines. We've got Gordon with his angry face. Stunning. Salty, the mascot. His face was done by Thomas Modeler on Twitter. I'm really glad you guys brought him back. I think he's also one of your best. And the Hornby Murdoch. Everybody loves him. Everybody loves to see him. Although you're not allowed to be on stream, Murdoch, because you're not part of Bachmann.
All are welcome. No worries.
Same with you, Percy. You don't get a spotlight. But no, both their faces were also done by Andrew, as well as James, who I've modified slightly to fill in his smoke box and painted his wheels black. He's quite an old model. Very pleased to have him though. I think that's the majority of my Bachmann collection.
Wonderful. And how do you generally apply your faces?
So they're just stuck on with yeah, I'll try and get an example. So they're just stuck on with plastic, blue tack, sorry.
Blue tack.
And they've got plastic eyes made from like just going on eBay and getting little pieces of they're like for jewelry and stuff, and then commissioning someone to get the different size pupils. I forget their name on mine now, but really thankful that they've been able to do different sizes for me so that I can test. I print them in the color seen on the back. You might see it's a little bit grey, a little bit blue, and then I spray paint it with aged grey, which a lot of other modelers seem to do. That's how I learned how to do it. And fine liner for the eyebrows and the mouth. And it's really quite that simple. Like once you've got the 3D printer, it's really quite easy to develop skills for the faces since they are really just so simple and they look so effective.
Definitely. Nice choice of expressions too, like going around with each engine.
Yeah,
the variety of expressions is terrific. So you decide what the expressions are with the way you apply the paint.
Yeah, I can. Like I could print this exact face of Edwards and have say 3 different faces of that one, but paint the eyebrows differently so that they all are distinguishable from each other. You know, so.
Well, it's a very skilled effect. I mean, the different expressions are wonderful.
Yeah, they really bring the characters to life, especially if I'm, remaking something. I see a lot of the modelers online use just the stock standard faces or, sorry, Christian, clay. And that never really cut it for me. So I was like, when I found out that 3D printing existed, I was like, yeah, I've got to get on this.
I'm sorry, man. Like my younger years, I was a low budget guy.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I probably would have done the same if I was a little younger too. Yeah, so that's the layout, and now I'm going to take you over to my little modeling presentation I've got over here. So I'll start down here with the little tankers. So here, this tanker here is I'll just try and set the phone up. This tanker here is a fully 3D printed one. This was one of the first trucks that I tried to 3D print completely. He's got a little face by, I believe his name is Seth on Twitter. just got these a couple days ago. And as you can see on the side, he actually had quite a print error, this line running along here. So the printing is not always, 100% easy. There's a lot of resin that can be wasted if you don't do the supports properly. On this one, it was just a giant crack down here that sort of opened up and I had to fill with putty. Sort of makes him look a little bit more like industrial, like he's been in an accident, been repaired. So I don't mind him. And they're quite heavy too, so some engines struggle to pull him along. And then down here, these two tankers, these were the Bachmann cream tanker and the raspberry tanker, which I found was sitting in my box of rolling stock and I wasn't using a lot, so I thought I might repaint them into their Season 2 style and Season 4 style, respectively, with their little faces there. They look quite good. And here, you've got this is just a Bachmann troublesome truck that I've repainted and printed some of these milk churns that I found on a site called, I think it was Thingiverse, and resized to fit perfectly in the truck. It makes for a really cool load. And over here, the Bachmann ventilated van, I've given him some custom graffiti, which honestly, on this side especially, I really, really like, and I've got to get around to doing some of this on my other vans since I've got so many of them. Yeah, and it's been weathered quite slightly, and his face is also printed by Seth.
That's nice. And how did you paint the graffiti on the side? That looks really good.
With a very, very cautious hand. Let's just say that it took this side took quite a while to perfect. Close up, you can kind of see how it's been used with a brush. Far away, it looks very effective. On the other side, it's not so good, so we're going to pretend that doesn't exist. And move along to, I've seen everyone saying him in the chat, this is my custom Arthur, which is, I believe, it's a Bachmann Ivet 2NT class that I brought a couple months ago. He's stuck in modeling hell at the moment. He's got white wheels, as I can't decide on the correct paint to use for him. I'm not completely happy with this red. It'll do for now, but he's sleeping, he's waiting to get some attention.
Yeah.
Down here we've got some figures. I think Rexecution's also made these. Cannot wait, by the way, for the Bachmann figures that are hopefully this scale, because I will probably buy a lot of them. Yeah, they look really good. 3D printed too. They can be really, really hard to put together though. As you can see, this one's arms had to be 3D printed separately and then stuck on, and they're very fragile, and I've had multiple snap on me. So, it looks very good on camera and pictures, but in real life it can be quite fidgety. And yeah, Arthur is also not complete either. He's still waiting on his LMS transfers in the middle. You can see his running board's quite cracked because it's just 3D print, and I've used enamel white paint on the running board, and it hasn't stuck properly. So, I'm still a fresh modeler. I'm not perfect, but for my first try, I'm very proud with how Arthur turned out.
No, it really looks stunning, and it goes to show how involved the process is. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of just very fine attention to detail. And it's really coming along.
Yeah, so I did his lining with pinstripe tape, automotive pinstripe tape, which was honestly, I really enjoyed that process. A lot of people online said it might be it's time consuming and whatnot, but I really enjoyed that the most. And he doesn't have a gold dome in the TV series, but that's the magic with this, is you can sort of customize it and create your own aesthetic of engine based on the original, And moving down here now, you've got a bit of a face collection. We've got the Bachmann Salt Wagon. He's got the laughing face on. A little globe tanker. Van and the Sodor Fuel, which I've weathered with the same weathering powder. I really like these guys. This is probably my favorite troublesome truck class. I think they look really cool. And yep, yeah, Bachmann stock standard troublesome truck painted again in that deep grey black. And this is one of my favourite faces I've done. So that's those guys.
Wonderful.
And moving down to the front, here is my scrapped version of Bachmann Oliver.
Amazing. That's one of my favorites you've done. I love that.
Yeah, this is a lot of people's favourites. He looks incredible, and actually did him before Arthur, so I'm quite proud of how he turned out. He is unpowered. He's just sitting on the chassis there. Cursed imagery. Yeah, he's got his sad face on, and he doesn't want to end up like the tank on the side of the line.
I kind of feel a little sorry for him, but he looks great.
Yeah, hopefully there's a certain engine that saves him soon, you know?
Just
Sounds
like
good.
In fact, it was Douglas. It was Douglas.
It was my favorite, one of my favorite engines.
No, it was Doug Blaine. With the same name.
Hey, I'm happy for I'm happy for a flight down to Australia to help out. No problem.
Welcome anytime. So here we've got Toad to match Oliver. I think his face was also 3D printed with a little custom lamp on the back there. It's unpowered, and hopefully in the future I can rig up a real light in there so it can look good at night. I really do want to remake the episode where these guys featured in. I think about it all the time, but honestly, I want to perfect that episode to the best of my ability. So I think it might be off the radar for a while. So moving on to this strange-looking fellow. This is a Hornby Patriot class, last I checked. I'm not very good with engine classes. You'll have to forgive me if I'm wrong. He's quite stock standard. He's got a massive dent in his tender, if anyone can see that. I think someone sat on him when I brought him a long time ago.
Wow.
And he's got... so he's meant to be an incarnation of the engine named Big City Engine, who is mentioned in the books and briefly... Oh, he's shown in the books too, and he's mentioned in the show or substituted as City of Truro. So he's got a custom face by Andrew there. I don't know if the light's blaring enough so you can see him. So yeah, his eyes are quite small. I'm yet to properly test this. I'm yet to sand his smoke box back so the face properly fits, but this is a project I'm really keen to work on more and eventually put into a story on my YouTube.
Yeah, and I love the face. Just reminds me of that famous shot from the Railway series, like, you engines don't know anything. You don't know what you're talking about.
He's a very, very snooty engine.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, just like this is my first print ever, which was the tanker. So it failed horribly, so I turned it into a scrap dressing. So I used the knowledge that I had from making that on 6 of these tenders. The other 4 are in storage. But they're just old sludge tenders that were made by Sodor Mail on Twitter and Instagram. I forget the rest of their handle, apologies for that. But they gave them to me, the files to me for free to print, which I'm very thankful for. And they just look like that underneath. It's just a shell. And this was used for an episode on my YouTube channel, Tender Engines.
Classic season 3.
Yeah. We were talking about that episode season yesterday. That's honestly another good episode from that season.
Definitely. And another quick question I do have. I mean, maybe we're going to go into this, so I apologize if I'm going ahead. But how did you make the trees? Because the trees look so nice too.
You want to know how I made this tree? This is quite literally a branch from outside on the tree outside. So
No kidding. Wow.
This is about a year and a half old, and it's still maintained its leaves shape. I'm sure if I flick the top of it, it's going to disintegrate into many pieces. So we're going to sit it back in the set and pretend like I spent a lot of time on it.
Wow.
Quite literally, all of the trees on this set are just branches from outside, except for these little birch trees, which I believe these were weed, not weed, like weeds from outside, and they've been wrapped in tape and sprayed white, and then given a green brush on the leaves with little black dots to symbolize the birch trees. I've got a couple of these. You can see the dead roots at the bottom there with the pin. to sit them in the set. They look quite good. And moving on to quite the show. We've got all my printed faces so far.
Wow.
You'll have to forgive the words on there. They're very wrong since I've just got more and more over time and they've shuffled around the board quite a lot. So you've got each character. You've got Duck's expressions, Arthur's expressions, the Scottish twins. Back down here we've got Oliver's, Mavis, Toby's. Again, these are done by the same three people, Andrew, Rex, and Thomas Modeler. Just to reiterate. Here are Percy's faces. A couple of weathered ones there for when he gets dirty.
I see that horrifying yawning face. My nightmare. Oh, that face right there. Doug, Ken, that was one of my nightmares as a kid, just so you know.
Oh, you poor guy. That's funny.
Very, very strange looking face, but very funny.
Yeah. And they only used it like once or twice, and, well, thankfully, it makes sense as to why they did.
It's quite hard to use that in any situation, I think. Next to Percy, we've got a couple of Edwards. I really like this one by Rex. It's one of my favorites. I don't think this is in the TV series. This is just based on that illustration in the Railway series when Edward tries to pull that train. So that's one of my favorites. A couple of Emily's faces there. Quite stock standard. James is quite recognisable with the pupils. I haven't got around to adding pupils to all of them since it takes quite the long time, and the pupils can sometimes fall straight off the actual eyeball themselves and can be very, very painful to put back on and such. Before we go up to the rest, I'm just going to show, these are the faces that I started with, so they look horrible in comparison. This Gordon face is cursed. But you can see, like, these don't have the holes in the back for the actual eyeballs, and they were just fully printed, so you can sort of tell if you go back and watch my older episodes how many times I repainted these to try and make them look perfect, and yeah, they look just very messed up. Couple Bachmann faces and Hornby ones that I've just kept in there. Moving back on up here, Henry's faces as well as Gordon's. Gordon's faces are honestly some of my favourite. They just did a great job capturing his big bossy expressions and attitude. I've only got 2 salty faces, but they do look very good on him.
Faces, and your username is Salty?
I know. There's quite a lot out there by Thomas Modeler, but they are quite expensive. So I've just refrained to getting the 2 here and the one that he's wearing now. So hopefully I can get more in the future. Big Boy Murdoch here. These were I think some of these were freshly reprinted as, you can see this one's slightly bigger than this one. These 4 were my first print. They were slightly too small. They were seen in my Peace and Quiet video, but I've since reprinted them to try and make them fit a little better. They're quite good. I really like them. Up the top here, Thomas. I don't think I printed any of these. These were all brought on Shapeways by Light and Cole, actually. That's another person who makes these faces. And these are Stepney faces by Thomas Modeler as well on Twitter. And Ari and Burr, which are some of my new favourites, by JJE09. Thank goodness I'm not forgetting any of these people now that I'm going around. These are all for Bert, as you can see the stubble on each of them. I'm yet to print Ari's that have no stubble. That's what this blank space is for. And moving up here, a couple of Toad faces. I forget who these are from. I got these a long time ago. I'm yet to buy some more off of Andrew. And speaking of Andrew, here are Andrew's diesel faces, which I've seen a lot of people use, and they stand out very well when you rub a bit of red pencil for red watercolor pencil for blush and anger. on
Wow.
some of these. That's what the blush is on some. Some are actually, these are weathering powder, this color, and this was just pencil. So yeah, that's my whole collection of faces.
Amazing.
Toby, you mentioned the pupils were very difficult to apply. What is the actual material for the pupil?
I believe the pupil is simply just it's just a little, like a sticker, like what you would buy in a store. Someone on eBay just makes like lines and dots for like children's craft, I believe, and I messaged them and asked them if they could make ones this small, and they managed to do it for me. So I've got I think the smallest is in I think the smallest ones might be on the face that one of the engines is wearing. I believe it's 1.75 millimeter, and then it goes to 2 millimeter, and then 2.25, and then there's
Yeah.
I think it's three for this one. This one might be the biggest option I've got here on Gordon.
Well, 1.75 is certainly small and fiddly for application, so you must have a steady hand.
Yes, those ones are horrifying to apply. They're very fiddly. Actually, they might be on this Stepney model, because since he
Wow.
has one of the littlest faces there.
Right.
Spoiler, that's my Hornby Stepney. He's not. I've accidentally broken the lamp irons off him. I've got to reapply them at one point. But yeah, any more questions on the faces? Maybe from chat or anything?
Someone's asking for you to show Percy's yawning face again, and I'm gonna close my eyes so I don't see it.
Okay, I'm going to bring it up to the light. See this, everyone? This is Christian's nightmare.
Christian,
Time
it
for
is
a
Halloween,
snooze.
so it's okay.
What about this one,
That
Christian?
is an amazing collection of faces. It's really just incredible, the variety and how much detail and work you put into them. It's very impressive.
Absolutely. And what you were just doing with that tired face, sorry, what you were just doing with that tired face, Toby, like with it like moving around like that, that's gonna be me tonight in bed. Because I'm not gonna...
This is you struggling to get to sleep tonight.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so that's my faces, and this is the last thing I have to properly showcase is my attempted model of this season 4 version of Bulgy's Bridge. It's still under quiet construction. But here we have good old Christian's favourite character, Terrence, sitting in the tunnel. The tunnel porter was 3D printed, as well as the other side. Both painted by me. The color is a little bit off. I don't really like the yellow on the brick. I might change that at one point. Majority of this was made by using this stuff, expander foam. I'm yet to properly put that back here into these little crevices to properly fill them out and make them look a little bit more presentable. The cricket oval, as seen in Train Stops Play, I'm quite unsure of how to approach this. As you can see, I did have fences, and I've gone back on my word and gone, hated how that looked, get rid of it, do it again at another day. Yep, you've got Stepney on the bridge, as seen in Train Stops Play, with there's no straw in the trucks, but just pretend there is. I have straw somewhere, forgot about that, won't lie. And here's Hornby's model of the diesel, as seen bowled out. He's quite stock standard too. Him and Spencer are the only two characters, I think, in my collection that don't have custom faces yet, so they're on their way, hopefully. Yeah, and each side of this, I tried a different technique on how to do the terrain. So I think this was just massive blobs of the foam, which covered in a bit of turf. I think looks okay. Looks a bit strange in some spots. I think this area looks quite good once a bit of trees go up. I'm yet to make some really big trees to really bring this set together. And on the other side, this was instead of big dobs of the foam, it was smoothed out. So you can sort of tell how strange that looks. It's a little bit like you can see holes and stuff, and the turf struggles to cover it all up. It looks like a huge rabbit or hamster colony is living in the side of the hill or something. So not quite pleased with how that turned out, but learning curve.
Yeah. But on camera, it looks great. And I think you were showing me something yesterday too, Toby. Sorry to cut you off there for a sec, but you were showing me something too yesterday, and like I thought it looked stunning, and you told me like, oh, it doesn't look that good in person, but on camera, it really looks very realistic. So
I'm very glad that stream could see it in all its glory. But let me tell you, when I'm working on this and I just go, nah, tools down, I can't stand this anymore. I have to have a break, which is what happened 3 times with this set. So hopefully one day I'll finish it. But yeah, as it stands, that's just what it looks like. So
I love it.
And I think that's all I've got to show today. I hope I've covered time. Would anyone on stream like to request a run of one of the engines? First one that Christian sees, I'll run.
All right. Let's see. The ball's in your court, guys. Oh, geez. Now they all came in. I think Donald and Douglas were first. Right, Ken? Was it Donald and Douglas?
Donald and Douglas.
Yeah. Wait, Ken, you're muted.
Okay.
Oh,
Ken, you've been
that's
talking
why.
to me this whole time. I haven't heard anything you've said.
That's
Yeah,
why
Ken, I
no one's
think you were
talking to me.
muted the whole time.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I thought Ken was a little quiet today too.
Yes, Donald Douglas. That sounds good.
All right, I'm just going to find something to prop the phone up on so I can use both hands. Let's see if I can use this hopper.
And while Toby gets ready, we'll do our raffle in the meantime, and then after Toby runs his, Donald and Douglas, we could move on with Doug Blaine from Bachmann Trains. So Christian just did a video with Bill, and this is actually ran by Christian, so it's slightly used, opened. But as you know, Christian does take very good care of his models. He cherishes them and makes sure that they're in tip-top shape. So we're going to do a raffle of this beautiful Bill. Did I say Bill before or Bill?
You said Bill.
Okay, yeah. And so we'll start it off. We just need a little hashtag, Christian, if you want to pick one out. And
Oh, man.
I guess in honor of Salty tonight, we'll do a hashtag Salty, and if you could do I Heart Bachmann. So hashtag Salty, I Heart Bachmann. This way, we always like to support Bachmann Trains. They're a huge supporter of our show, and they've been doing such a great job helping us out with these live streams. So put it in the chat and let us know, and we'll have Christian also try to pick out a winner when he gets a chance. He's got tons of things going on, but he does get to them.
Lots of people coming in.
Here they come.
Yeah, very cool.
A bunch of people are putting hashtag Christian. Ken, what's up with that?
There you go. They're going for all about it, but these are some good raffles. They're actual engines. It's good.
You know,
money.
and
So,
anything used by Christian has added value.
yes. Actually, we should start getting Christian to sign these things. So
That's a great idea.
yes.
Man, just ramping up my ego, Ken, aren't you?
That's it. We also got to have a talk with Nick, because we had Christian take some photos of for some YouTube thumbnails, but I haven't seen them posted up. So we got to get Nick going on some Christian thumbnails.
Definitely.
All right, some great stuff. And Toby, are you ready over there?
I'm ready when you guys are.
All right, so as they come in, we'll start running some trains, and then we'll switch it over to Doug. Very nice.
Nice.
Nice long consist. I like it.
Let's pray that they make it around the tightest curves that I have.
Wow.
What is the radius for that?
Great question. I don't know. I know I think it's the, I'm going to get this wrong. I'm going to guess third radius.
Yeah.
Well, whatever it is, it does look tight.
Oh, goodness. Look what's happening.
Yeah. Well, here in the States, right, we have like 22-inch, 18-inch, 15-inch, 15-inch. I mean, I'd be shocked if that's tighter than 18-inch, given Donald and Douglas's wide chassis. You know.
I'm shocked that they just made it around there, to be honest. They normally don't. I guess they're showing off for the camera.
Very neat. Well, Toby, you have a beautiful layout. Very neat.
Thank you. I wish my engines would work properly so they could better complement the layout, but...
That's right. That's right. I was also noticing when you're showing your layout in the opening segment there, you had an amazing ability to move just in time to get out of the way of the operating locomotives. So that shows true experience. You know it's coming. Just move your arm a little bit, let it go by, and go on with what you were doing. Your timing was perfect.
Thank you. I have to do that quite a lot when filming.
Totally understood.
Priority.
Definitely.
So,
Great job, Toby, and thank you so much for showing off a beautiful layout. And put it in the chat for Toby, Salty Min TT. So say thank you and do a hashtag for Salty Min TT. And thank Toby because he did a great job showing off his stuff. And he's doing it at an odd or different time from America. So we appreciate the Australian time zone difference and for showing off your stuff. So appreciate that, Toby.
thank you, guys. And I'm not going to bother with turning the camera around, so hopefully everyone can see me when I say bye to stream. It's so awkward. So thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks, Toby.
Appreciate it.
I do have one more question for Toby. Is are your walls official Thomas Blue?
I'm gonna for the question, yes. Officially, no.
Well, I think for the answer is perfect. Thank you.
Very neat. Great
Thanks,
job,
everyone.
Toby. I'm looking at the thing, but great job, great layout. And now for the grand finale, everybody always waits for Doug to be on the episode. Doug Blaine from Bachmann Trains. And I want to know what he has up his sleeve tonight, because at first he was driving Christian crazy. Can't come, can come, couldn't come, wants to surprise something, doesn't want to surprise something. So we have, I don't know if it's a surprise announcement or not. What's going on, Christian?
Oh, me? Oh, no.
Well, you've been talking with Doug. So before we hear Doug, Christian, do you know what the big announcements are, or what's going on?
Well, you were CC'd in the email, Ken, right?
How about before we get into trouble, let's just throw it to Doug.
Yeah.
Okay, you got it. Sounds good.
All right. Sounds good. I do want to start with something a little offbeat. And last time for the last show, we talked about some sunglasses that were modeled for Thomas. And I said that Bachmann made sunglasses from a couple of decades. And I wanted to maybe sport a pair. So can you give me just a second here. Take me off for just a second, Ken. Let me put the sunglasses on. All right, here we go.
All right.
Assuming this is for the train, not for
All
Ken.
right. We're gonna
sorry,
count.
Doug.
We're gonna do a countdown for Doug. 3, 2, 1.
All right, this is my new look. Modeling some Bachmann sunglasses circa probably 1970, maybe
No
1980 or not, maybe,
Amazing.
I'm guessing. So
Oh,
flip up lenses.
wow.
How about
There
that?
you go. Very cool.
All right, and just to make it official here, if I can, I'm going to try and show it to you if I can get it.
Wow.
Can you see the imprint there for the engraving?
You see the imprint. I'm not sure if I could spell it out, but yeah, look at that. Very neat.
All right, so there it says it. I'll read it just in case you can't see it there. Molded by Bachmann Brothers Inc., Philadelphia, USA. So that's that. And the other, and I didn't even know this until I put these on or picked them up for the show, that these are original or official Little League sunglasses. Who knew?
Oh, wow. Wow, very cool.
So I'm guessing these are from the 70s or 80s, and we were making sunglasses through the 50s and 60s as well.
That's
so anyway,
amazing.
just a bit of trivia before we move on to the reveal. So I don't know if you promoted this or not for what was specific, Christian, for tonight?
I left it open-ended.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so we have our first samples of painted samples of the narrow gauge vans, or the vans, the brake van and regular vans. So box vans rather. So here we go. Here's the first one. We of course have these in red and blue. So I'm going to show you the red one first. I think we've got end view there. Oh my gosh, you'd think I would do this better.
Oh man, I love it.
All right, I see some let's go. So I hope this is hitting the right buttons for some folks.
Oh yeah.
All right, good deal. There's the rain streaks on the top. I'll try and get some light on the chassis here. There we go, a little glare, but kind of gives you some idea of the details with some rivets there. There's a builder plate imprint on there as well. Sorry if that's out of focus.
I tell you, Christian's excitement on all the emails each month is always, he gets so excited, and it's always about product. It's amazing. He just, you can't disappoint him, Doug.
I would never want to disappoint Christian or anyone in the fandom.
That's it.
Here's the blue version.
Beautiful. And just out of curiosity, I'm sure this is the case, but is it the same shade of blue as the coach?
They're slightly different. I have a coach here to show you as well how they'll match up together.
Okay.
But they're slightly different, and I kind of like it a little bit different, just for variety. They're in the same family certainly, but a little bit different.
Nice.
All right, and here is the brake van.
Oh,
I love that.
Very neat.
The season 4 vibes, right, Toby? The season 4 vibes.
Yeah, I was trying to think if we even got a red van, but it looks very nice.
All right.
It's a very nice color.
Excellent. Glad you like it. Here's the blue version. Oops, hold on. I just hit something there. There we go. We're back, at least for me.
Great job, Doug.
Thank you.
I love it.
So these have been a long time coming. So I'm glad we could finally get samples for everybody.
And finally, the consist of Peter Sam and the blue coach and the brake van at the end.
There you go. So I've got, this is just for comparison now. The blues there's a slightly different shade to them, but I think they're in the same family. And I'll show you by comparison with the red coach as well. So that's our reveal for the evening. Whoops, wrong one. So we'll put these two guys together. Let's get the two blue ones here, so you can just see what they look like together.
Very cool.
All right.
People are loving them, Doug.
Good. I hope so. So, and I believe we will have them before the end of the year, which is nice. Anyway, we're looking forward to bringing them out, and happy they're coming after a long delay from the announcement time, but we got there.
It's great. Awesome. Christian, what do you think? You happy?
Oh yeah, Ken. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be up before Christmas, but if they are, well, now I know what to put on my list already.
Excellent.
Very cool. And Tidmouth Yard Studios, are pre-orders open on these? Yes, they are. So make sure you get your pre-order in, and because these sound pretty hot. And we already had one sold. Stephanie Prey, thank you. Very neat.
Thank you indeed.
All right, Christian, what do you think?
As always, Ken, I am always ecstatic, pleasantly surprised. It's always a pleasure to be on Thomas Tuesday with another very talented and skilled Thomas modeler, and Doug Blaine from Bachmann, never disappointing the fans.
Never disappoints.
Never
disappoint. Doug, you are always welcome on. We appreciate it. That's great. And Toby, you did a great job. Your layout's really amazing, and we really appreciate you taking the time, especially with the time zone difference. So that was really awesome for you to share with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. I didn't have work today, so it wasn't an issue for me to come on. I do have a question for Doug, if that's okay.
Sure.
I personally am hoping for a certain character to come out in the near future. Like, I wish for a new character in the near future, and I don't know if anyone saw him on the stream, but he's hiding. You might be able to see him now. There's a different brand of him hiding in my layout, and I would love to see Bachmann tackle his character, and that's Harvey. I think you guys could make an incredible model of him, and I would be the first one to pre-order him if that was announced.
We'll see about that. We'll see a bit about that, Toby.
just had to get that in there. I'm hoping for that.
All right. All I can say is thanks for the input, and we've got a lot of projects in the works. It takes a long time to bring things online. So duly noted, and thank you very much.
Not any pressure or anything, Doug, but
well,
no pressure.
So,
but please.
The Harvey that you have, is that one you made yourself?
No, I think it's just from the plastic Tomy range. You can see his little.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, classic. I love Harvey too. So we'll have to see who would pre-order that first. Classic. We both too.
Very neat.
I also can't wait for Ryan. I'm very excited for that one too.
Excellent. Well, I would just like to echo as well thanks for sharing your layout and your expertise and beautiful work. It was really, really fantastic.
Thanks a lot.
And for everyone who is interested in pre-ordering the brake fans and all the Bachmann Thomas items, if you go to tradeworld.com, under brand, search Bachmann, and we have this filter just under Trains Thomas and Friends. So you get all your Thomas and Friends characters, over 150 items. So tons of product to choose from. And you can drop down, sort by the scale you're interested in. And Bachmann makes so many scales now: G scale, HO, narrow gauge. So there's tons of options to select from, choose from, and we carry it all. And for pre-ordering, we make it easy, simple. You pre-order, you don't have to pay anything. We just charge you when the item does come in at a later point. So there's no money down ahead of time. So it's really simple, easy, but Bachmann has tons of choices here. So make sure you check our website, and we have it laid out. And there's Toad. And so really, and we were talking about these tonight, so they're still on pre-order. Pre-ordering these, I know a couple of people had some questions, and we also saw some questions about international orders or shipping. Yes, we do ship internationally. Some countries do have certain restrictions now, but most countries are wide open. And again, it's because of the country's laws and rulings. But yeah, tons of stuff. And G-Scale and Christian has been pumping out the videos. He's got some more new videos coming up, and he's going to be doing a whole series about getting people into the hobby with the Bachmann Thomas the Tank starter set. So they're great starter sets to get people into trains. So the holiday season is coming right around the corner. So if you have a loved one or someone who you want to get into the hobby, a Bachmann Thomas train set is the perfect way to get someone into the hobby. And Christian, again, excellent job tonight. You always do a great show and bringing on all these fantastic layouts and people. And Toby, your layout was from Australia. Christian, I don't even know how you got in touch with him, but that's amazing.
The magic of the World Wide Web.
Yes, thank God it wasn't through Pigeon or a different old carrier method, but it's easy these days. And Christian, you make everything so simple. So great job, and thank you for bringing Doug on again. And Doug, the excitement with Bachmann trains and Thomas is always fantastic. So we love having you on, Doug.
Well, thanks for your support. Great to be with you, Ken and Christian, and nice to meet you, Toby.
And nice to meet you too, Doug and Ken. I might have to ship that yawning Percy face to Christian by pigeon. It sounds like a plan.
There you go.
That's great.
All right, Christian, I'll let you off with the last words.
All right. Well, as always, everyone tuning in tonight, thank you very much for tuning in to tonight's Thomas Tuesday event. Or really morning, evening, afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. But it was an awesome event. Thank you, Toby, for showcasing your awesome layout, models, and collection. It's a pleasure again, especially since it's early in the morning where you are, 9 a.m. Couldn't believe it. And first Australian guest. And Doug Blaine, as always, thank you very much for showcasing the latest products. It's always a pleasant surprise, and it's amazing just how, well, for lack of a better term, you're always full of surprises, pleasant surprises. So.
Yeah.
We'll keep them coming.
And Ken, thank you always for giving me the opportunity to help put these together. It's always a pleasure.
Christian, we all love you, Christian.
Indeed.
All right, guys. And with I feel like Doug is from Back to the Future.
I'm ready.
Very cool. Thank you, everyone, so much. Get your Bachmann Thomas trains at trainworld.com. Thank you, and have a great night.
Good night.